The moment I declared it, not with lips, but in silence, in stillness, I became it, and the world, as though under command, rearranged itself around that unseen decree. There is no outer event, no bank transaction, no handshake, no announcement. Yet something eternal happens the instant you assume the state. You become a multi-billionaire not when the money arrives, but the moment you feel the truth of its arrival. In that sacred second, the soul moves and the heavens bend to serve its image. You are not here to earn riches. You are here to remember you are them. And it begins with one inner utterance: I am G. Do not look beyond the veil of your own being for what only the I am can give. All that you seek is already within you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, hidden not from you, but for you, in the secret place of the Most High. There is no treasure to uncover out there. The gold you seek, the wealth you desire, the fortune you long to receive, all of it lies buried in the field of your own wonderful human imagination. The kingdom of heaven is within you. The mansion of riches is within you, and the storehouse of every treasure, every coin, every check, every business, every vault of silver and stream of income is already complete, already formed, already yours, waiting not on time but on recognition. The only distance between you and the fortune is the assumption that it is not yet yours. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. That is not a wish. It is a declaration. It is a knowing. The one who knows that the I am within him is the source of all things walks in a world of apparent lack with the confidence of one who already owns the land. He does not beg. He does not plead. He does not ask for crumbs when the banquet is already set within him. He declares, I am rich, and the world echoes his decree. It is written, prove me now herewith, saith the Lord of hosts, if I will not open the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing, that there shall not be room enough to receive it. Where is that window? Where are those heavens? They are not above you, but within you, and the key that opens them is your assumption. When you assume a state, you open the window. When you persist in that state, you receive the rain of blessings. You are the ark. You are the vault. You are the treasury of all good. No man can give you what you have not first accepted of yourself. Do not mistake appearances for reality. A poor man in appearance who knows that he is rich within is richer than a millionaire who fears the loss of his fortune. For the inner wealth cannot be stolen. It cannot diminish. It cannot rot. It is eternal. It is imaginal, and imagination is God. Let the weak say, I am strong. Let the poor say, I am rich. Let the barren say, I am fruitful. For it is by assumption that the invisible becomes visible. You do not need money to feel wealthy. You need only the feeling of wealth. And that feeling, once accepted, will clothe itself in facts. All that you see, every mansion, every vault, every yacht and crown, is but the shadow of an inward state made visible. If you behold it and feel it as your own, the world must conform. But if you behold it and feel it as far from you, the world must keep it at arm's length, not because the world resists you, but because the law is impersonal. It mirrors, it reflects, it cannot add or subtract. It only gives you what you have accepted as true of yourself. Picture a great storehouse with ceilings higher than the eye can see, filled with gold bars, stacks of notes, bags of precious stones. Each shelf labeled not with price, but with feeling, joy, confidence, calm expectancy, gratitude. To walk through such a storehouse and claim nothing is to live in famine while standing in plenty. You are that storehouse. All you need do is feel it real. You are not on the outside looking in. You are the inside dreaming out. The world is your mirror and wealth is your shadow, but the substance is within. There is a man who walks to his job each day, shoulders heavy, eyes downcast. He labors much yet receives little, for he believes himself to be at the mercy of conditions. His cry is, if only I had more money, I could live freely. But he has not yet discovered the pearl of great price. Then there is another, who sits in silence each morning, closes his eyes, and enters the chamber of riches. He assumes the feeling of wealth. He does not argue. He does not ask how. He simply declares within himself, I am already all that I seek. And though he has no outer sign, he walks as though he owns the land. In a short while, circumstances bend. A door opens. A stranger appears. A gift arrives. He did not chase these things. They were drawn to the state he occupied. For all things are states, and states are attracted to their likeness. Imagination is the womb of creation. Nothing is born until it is first conceived. And conception is assumption. To assume wealth is to carry its seed. And if you remain faithful to the feeling, it must be born into form. The world tells you to work harder, save more, invest wisely. But the word says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. The kingdom is within. Righteousness is right thinking, right assuming. The adding is automatic. Do not think your wealth is created by banks, or men, or movements. It is created in the stillness of your own being. It is shaped in the silence of your inner sanctuary. One assumption, made and persisted in, is more powerful than 10,000 actions. One bold claim, if felt with conviction, will move mountains. You shall decree a thing, and it shall be established unto thee. What is your decree today? I am still waiting, or I am that I am. He who walks by sight sees only limitation. But he who walks by assumption sees only fulfillment. He who waits to see before he believes will wait forever. But he who believes first sees his world transfigured. I tell you, your belief is the mold, and consciousness is the substance. The riches are not outside, they are within. They are as close as breath, as near as thought. Every coin you have ever touched, every opportunity you have ever desired, already exists in the unseen. When you assume it, you draw it out. As the rain cometh down, and the snow from heaven, and returneth not thither, but watereth the earth, and maketh it bring forth and bud, so shall your word be. But your word is not what your lips say. Your word is what your soul assumes. Go into the secret place, shut the door. Withdraw from the noise of senses, and enter the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Feel it as though it were so, and remain there. Do not peek to see if it has arrived. Do not dig up the seed. Let it be. Let it grow. Let the state impress itself upon the subconscious, and it shall surely bring forth after its kind. The world is not finished. It is always becoming, and it becomes what you assume it to be. Wealth, then, is not a distant land you must travel to. It is a robe you must put on. Assume the state of the wealthy man and wear it like a garment. Act not outwardly, but inwardly. Think from it, feel from it, speak from it. And when the senses whisper otherwise, persist. Say within yourself, though I see nothing, I know that I have received. That is faith. And faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Remember the story of the prodigal son. He wandered, spent all, fell into want. But the moment he turned inward, the Father ran to meet him. The ring, the robe, the feast, all were waiting not to be earned, but to be claimed. He did not come home to ask, he came home to receive. So I say to you, come home to the feeling of wealth, return to your own I am, and say, Father, I thank thee, for thou hast heard me. And though there be no sign, no sound, no movement, hold fast. For in the stillness, all things are made. The soul that knows its wealth can walk through famine and lack and see only increase. It does not matter what the outer shows. The outer is but the echo of an inner tone. Change the tone, and the echo must change. Speak wealth inwardly, and the outer must mirror. You are not a beggar before God. You are the image and likeness of the Creator. You create by assuming, you assume by feeling. And what you feel as true becomes your life. Say within yourself, I am the source and substance of every treasure. My consciousness is the vault. My feeling is the key. My assumption is the law. Say it not once, but until the words take root in silence. Let them rise as knowing. Do not ask how the wealth will come. That is not your concern. Your only work is to dwell in the state of already having, and from that state all things flow. Let the world scramble, chase, and worry. You remain still, anchored in the knowing that the riches of heaven are within you. You do not seek, you reveal. You do not earn, you express. For I say to you, the moment you declare within, I am wealthy, the heavens record it. The world begins to shift, and the treasure, once hidden, begins to show its face. But only to the one who sees inwardly. He who hath eyes to see, let him see. And he who hath ears to hear, let him hear. The gold is within. The storehouse is you. The time is now. I am. If thou wouldst be free, then see no thing as above thee. See no idol before the living God. Not in heaven above, nor earth beneath, nor any form that moveth upon the sea. For the one who understands the truth of I am, bows to no outer thing, not to a name, not to a number, not to a coin, not to the weight of gold or the signature of men. That which the world calls wealth is but a shadow of the wealth within, and when you know the truth, you command the shadow, not the other way around. Money was never meant to rule man. Man was made in the image of the invisible God, and to him was given dominion over all things. Dominion, not slavery. Mastery, not dependence. When you rise in the awareness of being, when you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, then all things align as your servant, for you serve only one master, your own wonderful I am. You cannot serve God and mammon. You cannot be ruled by fear of money and know yourself as abundance. You cannot crave what you already possess. You cannot beg for what you are. You must choose this day whom ye will serve. Either the illusion of lack or the truth of sufficiency. Either the echo or the voice. Either the form or the spirit. Money, when rightly seen, is your servant. It has ears to hear and feet to walk, and it moves swiftly at the silent command of your assumption. If you assume that you are one whose life is filled with every good thing, then money obeys. If you assume that you are never enough, always scraping, always in need, then it becomes a hard taskmaster. The whip of the outer world strikes only those who forget their inner throne. There was once a man who feared poverty more than death. He labored day and night, not from joy but from dread. He saved each coin with a trembling hand and watched the market with an anxious eye. Yet the more he clung to his savings, the more life withheld from him. His master was not God, it was fear. He did not possess money. Money possessed him. And yet another, who lived simply and walked gently, daily entered the stillness of his own being. In the silence he assumed abundance, not loud, not desperate, but quiet, rich, and full. He spoke not of what he lacked, but thanked the Father for what already was. And money came to him, not always from the expected paths, but always on time, always enough, always more than enough. Why? Because he was the master. Because he lived from the knowing that all things are given. Money responds not to effort, but to inner authority. The outer world, like a servant awaiting instruction, waits upon your mood, your tone, your speech, your inner decrees. You declare by what you feel. You instruct by what you assume. The assumption that you are rich, even while the purse is empty, opens the floodgates of unseen channels. You may not know from whence it comes. You do not need to. Leave that to the law. You concern yourself only with the state. Feel the state of wealth. Assume the dignity of it. Walk as one whose inheritance is secure. Speak as one whose name is already written in the book of plenty. And it shall be done unto you as you believe. Every king has a treasury, and you are no less. The treasury is your imagination. If you command that inner servant with authority, it will multiply what you possess and add to what is given. If you hesitate, if you fear, if you waver, the servant is confused. The shadow grows dim. The outer reflects not your wish, but your doubt. Do not chase money. You do not chase a shadow. You stand in the light, and the shadow forms. Stand in the light of, I am wealthy, and wealth follows. Stand in the conviction that all you need is already yours, and the symbols of money, notes, numbers, transactions, rush to obey. The world is Caesar, and Caesar must render unto you what you have rendered unto God. What is rendered unto God? Faith, conviction, assumption, not pleading, not begging, not wondering, but knowing. Think of money as a river. You do not grasp at the river. You place yourself in the current, and it carries you. When you assume the state of wealth, you step into that current. You become the flow. You are no longer standing outside the stream, hoping for droplets. You are the river. Every condition in your life is but the reflection of a state. The state makes the condition. The condition never makes the state. You do not become wealthy by gathering. You become wealthy by assuming. The one who gathers from fear is still poor, for he lives in the state of, I may lose. But the one who gives from fullness is already rich, for he knows there is always more where that came from. There was a woman who always said, I can't afford that. And life, faithful servant that it is, said, so be it. Her world complied with her decree. Another woman, having little by sight but much by feeling, said only, it is mine. And the world echoed, yes, it is. Let the poor say, I am rich. Let the world call you mad. Let the senses accuse you. You know the law. You know the truth. You know that assumption, held in silence and clothed in faith, must be made flesh. Do not say, when I get money, then I will feel secure. Say, I am secure, and the money will come. Do not say, when I win the lottery, then I will believe. Say, I have already won, and the lottery shall be the echo of that belief. To believe is to live from the end. It is to refuse the testimony of the senses and to dwell in the secret chambers of fulfillment. It is to see the banquet while the table is still bare. It is to hear the music while the room is silent. It is to smile, not because something happened, but because something has already happened in the invisible. Money comes to those who love it rightly, not with attachment, not with desperation, but with the joy of mastery. The love of money is not the root of evil. The worship of money is to love it as a servant, to bless it as a symbol, to use it as an instrument of joy. This is right. But to fear it, to chase it, to make it your reason, that is to place the created above the creator. You are the cause. You are the source. You are the consciousness from which all things spring. Say it aloud until the silence agrees. Money is not my master. I am the master. I am the source. I am the one who declares, and it is so. And it is so. If you feel fear when you think of money, then you are bowing to the servant. Rise. Reclaim your place. Return to the throne. Let the feeling of freedom replace the feeling of lack. Let the joy of having replace the need of getting. Let the stillness of it is done wash away the noise of what if. The law knows only one thing, your assumption. That is the prayer. That is the offering. That is the incense that rises before the throne. And it must be answered. Walk in the state of wealth. Feel its weightlessness. Hear its sound in the steps you take. See its evidence in your imagination. For imagination is reality. Imagination is divine. Imagination is the field where all things begin. You are not poor. You are not waiting. You are not dependent. You are the living God, imagining a world of riches and seeing it made manifest through the law of assumption. You are not outside looking in. You are inside dreaming out. Money will come. It must. It is law. It is written, all things whatsoever ye shall ask in prayer, believing, ye shall receive. What is prayer? It is assumption. It is the inner act. It is the feeling that the thing is already so. To pray is to feel. To believe is to assume. And to assume rightly is to master the shadow called money. So stand still and know. Say within yourself, I am the one who sends money, not the one who follows it. Say, I am the fire and money is the smoke. I am the sun and money is the light. Say, I am that I am, and rest, and the servant shall come. All that you behold, though it appears without, it is within, in your imagination, of which this world of mortality is but a shadow. You may turn from the mirror, but the reflection remains. The world is not a cause, it is effect. The world is not a creator, it is a creation. The outer is but the visible echo of your inner word. And the word is with God, and the word is God, and the word is I am. In the beginning was not the dollar, not the job, not the opportunity. In the beginning was the word, and the word was not spoken aloud, but whispered within. The inner speech, the conversation held in the stillness of thought, is the womb of the world. As you assume, you speak. As you speak, you create. The world is your soul made visible. It mirrors faithfully every seed sown in imagination. You do not see to believe. You believe and then you see. For faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And what is this faith but the assumption sustained, the imaginal act felt as true, though no sense confirms it? Your faith is not measured in noise or effort, but in silent persistence. The one who assumes wealth, though the pocket be empty, is richer than 10 who speak of riches yet dwell in fear. What are you saying within yourself? Not what do your lips declare before men, but what do your thoughts rehearse when no one listens? For as a man thinketh in his heart, his subconscious, his inner dwelling, so is he. Not so he becomes, so he is. In that moment, in that feeling, in that assumption. There is a mirror, not framed in gold, nor hung upon a wall, but spread across the heavens. It is your world, and it reflects not what you want, but who you are. And who you are is who you assume yourself to be. If you would change the mirror, do not strike the glass. Do not curse the image. Do not polish the reflection. Enter the chamber of thought. Close the door to the senses. Speak the word within. Assume the new tone. And the word, though delayed by the veil of time, must answer. I say unto you, whatever ye desire, when ye pray, believe that ye have received it, and it shall be yours. Do not believe that you shall receive. Believe that you have received. There is no future in prayer. There is only now. The moment you say, it is mine, and mean it, it becomes yours. Though the world delay, though the echo take time to reach the ears, the cause is complete. Consider the mirror again. If you smile into it, it smiles. If you frown, it frowns. If you scowl, it scowls. But the mirror has no power to change until you do. So it is with life. If you declare yourself to be rich, if you feel the tone of affluence, if you walk as though the check is already in your hand, the world cannot help but yield. It must. It is law. There was a man who every night before sleep pictured a letter, white, clean, crisp, bearing his name and sealed with good news. He did not know from whom it would come. He did not plan its arrival. He simply rehearsed the joy of receiving it. In time, the envelope arrived. Not once, but many times, for he had already received it in imagination, and the world merely echoed his inner receipt. You are not separate from the riches you seek. You are not distant from the fortune you desire. You are one with it in consciousness. The only veil between you and the thing is the denial of your own assumption. But the moment you take it as your own, without needing evidence, you break the spell. And the world, like a faithful servant, obeys. Let the poor say not, I will one day be rich, but I am rich. And let him speak it not with trembling lips, but with the calm power of one who knows the mirror reflects. Let the unemployed say, I am employed, and feel the joy of the work, the rhythm of the day, the certainty of provision. Let the seeker of wealth say, I have found, and let him touch the invisible gold within, and hear the coins falling in imagination before they fall in hand. You are always speaking, always assuming, always feeling, and the world is always listening, always forming, always echoing. To live by the senses is to live in reaction. To live by assumption is to live in creation. For what you feel as true now becomes the mold of your future. Imagine the world as a pool of water, still, deep, responsive. Drop in your word, your inner tone, and the ripples will move outward. You do not need to swim across the water to reach your goal. You need only to drop the right stone. Assume the state, and the current begins. All things, be they dollars, homes, inheritances, or winnings, are drawn to the self that assumes their possession. Not someday, not if, not when. Now, I am is the name of God, and before Abraham was I am. You shall not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain. That is not a command to the lips, but a command to the heart. When you say, I am poor, you take his name in vain. When you say, I am not enough, you deny your birthright. But when you say, I am rich, and feel it, when you say, I am favored, and dwell in it, you glorify the name that called all things into being. There is no fiction in imagination. All things exist now. Your wealth is not waiting to be made. It is waiting to be recognized. The gold does not come to you. It comes from you, birthed in the invisible and clothed in the visible. Every coin you will ever spend is already yours in consciousness. Every opportunity, every open door, every surprise windfall is already finished, already fulfilled, already complete within. There was a merchant who every day counted his losses. He looked at the register and said, another bad day. And the world mirror, said, yes, another. But one day he turned within and began to say, I am successful. I am profitable. I am increasing. And though for days nothing changed, his inner speech did not waver. Then came the customers, then came the orders, then came the overflow. He did not change the world. He changed the voice within. The voice is not heard by others, but by the one who forms worlds. That one is within you. That one is your own wonderful imagination. He speaks through feeling. He acts through assumption. He creates through your decree. You are the prophet of your own destiny. What you whisper in your heart becomes thunder in the sky. What you repeat in your thoughts becomes the law of your land. What you dwell upon becomes your dwelling. Let the lips be still and the heart speak. Say within, I am wealthy beyond measure. I am the heir to unseen fortunes. I am already in possession of more than enough. Say it not once, but until the inner ear hears it. Until it becomes a song in your silence. Until it feels like memory instead of hope. The world cannot resist the one who knows. It may delay, it may twist, but it cannot deny. For the mirror must reflect. The harvest must follow the seed. The shadow must follow the form. Think only on what you desire to express. Speak only from the end. Imagine only what you wish to see. And persist, for persistence is faith. And faith, when it is perfect, is possession. You cannot imagine wealth and remain poor. You cannot feel abundance and live in lack. One must yield to the other. And what you feed grows. What you repeat becomes. What you assume manifests. Even now, as you listen, you are imagining. You are forming a world. You are standing in a state. You are saying within yourself, it is mine, or it is far. Choose now the words you will dwell upon. Choose now the image you will worship. Choose now the tone you will carry, and the mirror shall obey. Assumption is not a hope. It is not a guess. It is not a fleeting thought. Assumption is a covenant. A covenant is not formed with the outer world. It is sealed in the secret chambers of the heart between man and his own wonderful I am. And the moment it is formed, unseen hands move. That which was spoken in the silence is written in the heavens, and what is written above must find its likeness below. He calleth those things which be not as though they were, and when he calleth them so, they become. But where does this calling occur? In the soul, in imagination, in the still, small voice that declares, I am, and then allows the word to become flesh. There is no power outside your own inner speech, your own inner knowing, your own inner agreement with the thing hoped for. You have made covenants with many things, some in fear, some in doubt, and some in hope. But when you make a covenant in confidence, in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and abide there, all things in heaven and earth shall conspire to make it so. Imagine a scroll, sealed and hidden from the eyes of men. No one may open it but the Lamb. And who is the Lamb? He is your own imagination, sacrificed daily when you forget your divinity and bow before the evidence of the senses. But when you remember and dare to say, I am wealthy, even when the purse is empty, you loose the seals. You open the scroll. You write the decree upon the heart. and heaven reads what you have written. There is a man who nightly entered the same inner room. He took no thought for the outer world. He did not beg for fortune. He did not consult the stars. He simply declared, I am a winner of great wealth. He did not explain. He did not wait. He assumed. He wrapped himself in that robe and slept in its warmth. He dined with kings in imagination. He walked among riches in thought. And what was once but a whisper in the dark became gold in the hand. That is covenant. Your assumption is not a mere wish. It is law. It is order. It is the rhythm of heaven clothed in the garments of the now. To say, I am, is to bind yourself to the thing named. You do not say, I will be. You say, I am. For now is the accepted time. Now is the day of salvation. You may say, but I see no change. I feel no evidence. I say to you, the covenant is not with the world. The world is the echo, the delayed shadow. The covenant is made in the garden, in the quiet place, in Eden. Your own wonderful human imagination. See the stars above. Are they not symbols? And what is written among them? Your destiny. But that destiny is not fixed. It is not dictated by fate. It is molded by your assumptions. Your belief bends the stars, shifts the heavens, moves the earth beneath your feet. I say to you, the one who assumes dominion assumes God. For the Word was God, and the Word was with God, and that Word is always, I am. You stand in the Holy of Holies when you dare to assume what the senses deny. You enter the temple not made with hands when you clothe yourself in the unseen wealth, the unseen winnings, the unseen abundance, and call it yours. And all things, all persons, all paths will bow to that inner vow. Let the nations rage. Let appearances speak their lies. The one who has assumed is unmoved. He knows the contract has been signed, not in ink, but in feeling. Not on paper, but in spirit. And spirit never forgets. Consider the man who builds a house. He lays the foundation long before the roof appears. But the contract was made before the first stone was laid. So it is with your wealth. The assumption is the foundation. And once laid, the structure must rise. You may look about and say, there is no sign of wealth. I see no increase. But I say, do not look without, look within. The contract has been signed. The blueprint is drawn. The foundation is secure. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. When the children of Israel stood before the Red Sea, they saw only the impossible. But the command was not to run. It was to stand still. The sea parted not before the faith. It parted because of it. So the obstacle before you must yield, not because you struggle, but because you assume. Assumption parts the seas. Assumption tears the veil. Assumption brings manna from the heavens and gold from the mouths of fish. But only to the one who persists, only to the one who says, though I see nothing, yet will I trust. There is a covenant, and the covenant is this, as thou hast believed, so be it done unto thee. That is not a promise for the future. That is law, eternal and unbreakable. Your assumption is the signature. Your persistence is the seal. See yourself standing at an altar. No priest is needed. No witness but God and yourself. You speak the word, I am rich, and the heavens record it. You speak, I am chosen, and the angels echo it. You speak, I have won, and the wheel turns. It is done unto you exactly as you assume. There is a field, and in that field lies a pearl of great price. The wise man sells all that he has, not his possessions, but his doubts, his fears, his history, his former states, and buys that field. What is the pearl? It is the feeling of the wish fulfilled. It is the assumption that you already are what you desire to be. To assume wealth is to purchase the pearl. To walk in the spirit of already having is to own the field. To persist in that state, unmoved by what appears, is to find the treasure buried in the heart. You do not earn the wealth. You do not chase the lottery. You do not build your way into abundance. You assume it. And having assumed it, you walk by faith, not by sight. You carry the invisible check in your pocket. You hear the applause of an unseen crowd. You sign the contract in dream, and the pen is your belief. Do not ask how it shall come. The covenant asks not your strategy. It demands only your faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for. Substance, not shadow. The covenant is not theory. It is creation. If thou canst believe, all things are possible. Not some, not many, all. But belief is not mere agreement. It is not repeating words without feeling. Belief is assumption. Belief is marriage. Belief is union. When you say, I am, and believe it, you become one flesh with the state. And the two shall become one. And what God has joined together, what your I am has united with, let no man put asunder. Do not undo your covenant with careless speech. Do not dissolve your union with doubt. You have entered the state. Now abide there. Live from it. Move from it. Speak from it. And it will unfold in ways that seem miraculous. But they are not miracles. They are laws in motion. I tell you, the world moves for the one who has entered the covenant. Doors open. Walls collapse. Circumstances reconfigure themselves to fit the tone of the assumption. I am not speaking of wishful thinking. I am speaking of resurrection. The dead state becomes alive when you assume it as your own. The dry bones rise when breath, your spirit, is breathed into them through assumption. You do not wait for wealth. You raise it. You call it from the tomb of the unseen. You clothe it in life with your feeling. And the stone is rolled away. He who assumes reigns. He who assumes is never beneath, but always above. He walks in dominion. He walks as one who owns the land. He does not beg. He does not plead. He declares, for I am hath sent me. The world hears the tone, not the words. The subconscious listens not to what you want, but to what you accept. The Father who seeth in secret rewards you openly. But the secret is not your desire. The secret is your assumption. You may ask, how long must I remain in the state? I say, until the state becomes natural. Until it feels like home. Until it no longer surprises you. Then the outer must yield, for it is no longer the master, but the servant. Let the winds blow. Let the storms rage. You have made your vow. You have entered the covenant. You have assumed the end. And the end is where all beginnings come from. Do not look back. Do not doubt. Do not waver. For a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. But the one who remains in the state, who walks in it, who sleeps in it, who dreams from it, that one is the rock upon which all riches stand. Say now within yourself, I am the one who has already received. I am the one whose name is written on the check. I am the one who lives in the house, who owns the field, who holds the treasure. Say it not as a chant, but as a truth, and having said it, feel no need to repeat. Rest. Rejoice, it is finished, and it is finished. And now let the next keynote rise like a wave from the sea of consciousness. All things are states of consciousness, and you move freely among them. You need not leave your chair, you need not cross oceans, for consciousness is the terrain, and imagination is the path. You dwell in many rooms. One is poverty, another is enough, another is abundance. All are open. It is your feeling that determines your chamber. It is assumption that moves you from one room to the next, and the world around you shifts to echo the state you choose. Behold the parable of the traveler within. He walks corridors in his mind, one carpeted with scarcity, one with sufficiency, one with opulence. He may pause in one room, smell its air, feel its furniture, hear its silence. If he lingers in poverty, walls close. If he enters abundance, the walls expand. The corridor reconfigures, the corridors open. States bow to awareness. States bow to your I am. You do not escape poverty. You exit it inwardly. You enter wealth. You become wealth. You do not climb a ladder. You change the floor under your feet. As it is written, in my Father's house are many mansions. Many rooms of consciousness. Wealth is simply one mansion, poverty another. The difference lies not in forms but in feeling, and feeling is your authority. Claim the room, place your consciousness there, and every circumstance, every opportunity, every symbol of money will appear to greet you. You move among them by feeling. No force, no striving. You close your eyes and feel the sensation of arriving. You hear the fanfare, Feel the weight of coins, see the numbers rise. The senses may deny you, but the imagination does not lie. You dwell now in the room of abundance, and the senses must adjust or obey silently. Imagine now a man who habitually occupies a small, dimly lit room, scarcity. He complains, "I cannot get ahead." He looks at the world and sees obstacles. Then one day he closes his eyes. He imagines entering a grand chamber, to sense, to smell, to know. He assumes it real. He remains there until he feels grown into that mansion. And though outwardly nothing changed, something shifted. A job came. A check arrived. The mirror world responded. For he moved from one state to another and the world mirrored. You are no slave to your past room. You are not bound to your present state. You move at will. States obey feeling. You feel enough, your room brightens. You feel overflow, your room becomes mansion-wide. You feel, I am more than enough, and all outer things recast to match. Do not plead to be moved. Do not demand new circumstances. Demand only the feeling state. That is the door. And once passed through, places, people, opportunities rush to fill the echo of your scene. Your I am is sovereign. It enters the room. It flicks the switch. Room changes. State shifts. You leave poverty not by leaving your chair but by moving inward. You enter plenty. You enter royalty. You enter prayer answered. You enter the check in hand. You enter lottery won. All from your inner decision that you are already there. This is the inner secret. Your world is state created. And you, sovereign thinker, choose your state. Choose now permanence over passing, abundance over lack, dominion over dependence. And as you do, your surroundings will obey the architecture of your imagination. You do not change the world. You change your consciousness. And the mirror must reflect. I am the one who dwells in the room of abundance. I am the master traveler among states. I am the eternal switch that lights the halls of fortune. I assume the feeling now. I move well in wealth. I move through states. All things obey. Next will rise the keynote that leads you deeper still. All persistence is faith made flesh. That is the keynote now, flowing as a single breath, a single current of knowing. He who endures in assumption, even when the senses deny, walks the secret path from desire to the wish fulfilled. Persistence is the heartbeat of creation. Persistence is the echo in eternity. Persistence is the risen dead state alive in consciousness. Repeat, he that endures to the end shall be saved. You have assumed your wealth. You have entered your mansion. You have closed your eyes and heard your coins clinking, felt your bank increase, seen lottery numbers fall in place. But still the mirror world may delay its answer. The senses mutter, the bank stays level, no check arrives. What then? Persist. Let your feelings state not budge. Let your assumption become your day and your night. Let your silence speak louder than the outer sound. There was a gardener who planted seeds in barren soil. Day after day he watered, day after day he waited. Though nothing appeared, neighbors mocked, he heard their jeers. But he persisted. He believed in unseen roots, in life beneath the dry ground. And when time had ripened, the shoot broke forth and flourished. The harvest was more than enough. His persistence had given birth to substance. In the same way, you water with your persistence. You assume, you feel, you rest in the state, you say within, I have received, and you mean it though there is no sign. You do not break faith with the unseen. You do not bargain with doubt. You do not peek at the soil. You persist until green appears above ground. And then the outer world, faithful servant, bows to your knowing. Persistence is not effort. It is not striving. It is not pushing or pleading. The stir is inward. A quiet persistence. A decided calm. You remain in the chamber of already having. You refuse to leave. You refuse to surrender. You refuse to look without. You say within, it is done, and breathe peace. The world tells you to act, to work, to push. But the kingdom within answers not to doing but to being. If you are already the millionaire, the lottery winner, the wealthy person, you walk without struggle. It is not action that births the wealth. It is assumption steadfast. It is resting in the end. It is believing before seeing. It is persistence in the I am. You do not pray. You do not beg, you abide. You dwell in your inner court. You wear the wedding garment before the feast. You sit at table before crumbs appear. You stand at the podium before applause arrives. And because you have assumed, the applause comes. As Abraham believed God, and it was counted unto him for righteousness. So you believe the assumption, and it is credited in your affairs. You do not check the balance. You do not audit your feelings. You simply remain. Nothing can uproot the planted seed when the planter tends it daily in silence. The roots have reached the water. The shoot is hidden but alive. The days of fruit shall come. Every night before sleep, return to the state. Feel the money in your hand. Hear the mailbox. Taste the delight of wealth. Let the feeling rise in your heart. Let it fall into the subconscious. Then sleep. Let the law work. Let the soil open. Let the unseen build. In the morning arise in the same tune. Say not, I must regain the state. No, do not wrestle. Simply feel it again. Feel the wealth. Feel the power. Feel the release. Then live your day without fear. If you lose the feeling during the day, return. Close the eyes, return. It takes but a moment. Persistence is quick. It costs nothing. It requires no plan, only unwavering faith in the unseen self. Do not be discouraged by the outer noise. Do not listen to the senses. Let them speak. You persist. You know. For the world is a mirror, and your persistence polishes the glass until the image appears. The clearer the mirror, the brighter the reflection. The longer you persist, the sooner the image shows. You are the artist of your life. You hold the brush. You choose the colors. And your persistence is the stroke that completes the painting. It takes time, yes, but time is the servant of faith. It cannot master the master. It waits until the state is done. Consider Joseph. Sold into Egypt, forgotten by his brothers, left in prison. Yet he retained the dream. He persisted in his inner vision. And his persistence brought him to the throne. His wealth did not come until years later, but he had possessed it long before in the silence. He did not waver. He did not doubt. He persisted. And the state became fact. If you persist in the state of already having won the lottery, the check must come. If you persist in the state of already having wealth, the bank account will show the balance. If you persist in the state of being the generous giver, wealth flows unasked. But only when persistence becomes your inner creed. Speak not of your persistence. Let the silence reverberate. Let the world see not your faith, but your calm. Let your day be unshaken. Let your hours be peaceful. You have already received. The harvest grows unseen. Imitation is the complement of faithless mind. Do not imitate effort. Do not mimic action. Persist in peace. Persist in fullness. Persist until the chamber you entered becomes your new outskirts. Persist until your mind accepts no other state. Persist until your heart rests in its victory. This is the law. The law is not broken by outer time. It is fulfilled by inner firmness. The longer the delay, the more perfect the version. For God delays only to perfect the design. You have but to persist. You may walk into a storm. The wind may blow. The waters may rise. But you stand on your rock. You stand in the temple. You persist in the state of having, and the storms must retreat. Your persistence shall outlast the tempter of doubt, the tempter of fear, the tempter of the senses. Let him speak, let him howl, but you persist. You hold the space. You do not move, you do not look, you do not doubt. Your persistence is prayer, and prayer is faith, and faith is substance, and substance births the unseen into visible. Let the repetition of this truth settle deep. Persistence in assumption is faith made flesh. Repeat it, feel it, live it, be it. Then watch how your circumstances bow to your inner resolve. Now, persist as one who already has. Persist as one who cannot be moved. Persist until your garment of wealth rests like a garment upon you. Persist until the outer world cannot deny your inner decree. Persist until the wish fulfilled shines through the mirror. For persistence is the secret measure of things unseen made manifest. Next rises the keynote of deeper mystery. You now know that wealth is not a matter of effort, nor time, nor chance. It is not earned, it is not chased, it is not awaited, it is assumed. And in that assumption, held without trembling, without questioning, without peeking behind the veil, the invisible becomes the visible, and the formless takes form. Your inner world is the only cause. Your imagination is the womb of all creation. Your assumption is the divine spark that sets the whole machinery of the world in motion. The state you occupy, the feeling you persist in, becomes the law unto your life. Do not look outward. Do not wait. Do not ask. Claim it now, quietly, certainly fully, and persist in that claim. Be still and know it is finished. What you assume with feeling and persist in as true must be. All things are already yours. Walk in the end, and all else shall follow.